Hi everyone, welcome to the vlog. This is, oh no, is it a vlog or is it a podcast? It's the podcast. But then there was a whole decision of, is it a vlog if I'm doing this outside and then just looking in the camera and talking? It's like a vlog that's been turned into a podcast. So is it V for very important news, or is it P for promises? Update number 2. Let's go for that. I think it's episode 4. Oh my God, this is going badly. Let's get cracking. Welcome to the podcast. This is P is for promises, update number 2.
Blog it and tag it and post it and bin it. Blog it and tag it and post it and bin it.
Okay, so let's try something new here. I'm outside recording this podcast just because I was like, why should I be all sort of stuck in a little room just recording it? I don't know if the audio is going to sound worse or not. It's just an experiment, and even the location's an experiment. And it wasn't until I checked the audio that I noticed that there is a Dixie, a Portaloo in the background. it's just too perfect for words. But and you can probably see it's quite windy as well, so I don't know what the wind's going to be like. But I've got some notes. I want to give a bit of an update. So let me get my notes out and then we can just get cracking. If the sound suddenly goes out and it goes back on, that's just because someone's come to chat to me, because as you see, people are cycling past. If you're not seeing that, then you're not looking at it on YouTube. Check it out. You get to see some nice greenery in the background. So what we want to talk about today, it's an update number 2. So what's happened since last week? Well, I think the biggest thing is there were 2 things that happened. First of all, we had the summer run, RunX summer run, where I did the video, and I think it went quite well. So I'm quite pleased with that. I'll put a link to, or in fact, let's just make it play now. So you can sort of see it playing now, the video that I did. It's like 1.5 minutes. So it was a great event. Finally, we had some good weather. So for the last, I think this is the 4th year that I've been doing the filming. And the first year was lovely sunshine. Then the next 2 editions were rainy, grey skies. And you're kind of doing, I want to do the summer run after movie, but you kind of go, it's not really summer run if it's like really bad weather. But it was good weather this time, so I got it done. You know, I'm not a videographer. I don't, you know, I haven't got ND filters. I haven't got a big camera. I've just got the cameras that I use when I do my normal stuff. So, and I just do it using the techniques that I do. So it's not the really cool looking after movies that you get from other people, but I think it's good. And yeah, for RunX, it doesn't cost them anything, and for me, it's something fun to do. I really enjoy it. There's an ambulance going past. Just going to wait to see if that. Oh no, look, there you go. They're whizzing past. So as soon as they go past, then they put the sirens on. Runner. This is probably making for the worst podcast ever, but it's kind of fun watching everything go by on the video version. So that was RunX. Had a lot of fun doing the summer run there. Great seeing everyone and everything. I think it's one of my favourite events. They don't want to make it much bigger than it is. It has around sort of 350, 400 people. I think that this could easily be something 2,000 people could go and do it. It is such a great event because it's like on a closed loop and everything. I think it's just brilliant, but they want to keep it sort of kind of small like it is, which I can understand. The other thing that I did was I finished my first aid course. So if you go back, for those people that know, have known me a while, have been listening into this for a long time, you know that I was voted for Harlem Person of the Year. I didn't win it, I came second, but one of the things that really struck me on that were all the incredible people that were nominated. I had a real struggle about how do I promote myself because it would have a real benefit for me winning. How do I justify me promoting it when all these other people deserve to win it as much as I can? So I really struggle with it. But one thing I did get out of it was there was one guy who, oh, of course, I want to say David, but it wasn't. It was Daniel. I think it was Daniel. I'll link to his account below. He saved a person's life. Now, he was cheating because he's a surgeon, so he's got all the first aid knowledge. But yeah, it was incredible what he did. He saved sort of a child that was drowning in a swimming pool. And his mission, what he said is, I really want to inspire people to take a first aid course. So this is back in January. And then I didn't want to say anything to anyone that might influence them voting on me. So I didn't say anything, but in the evening of the ceremony, I went up to him and I said, look, I really love what you're trying to promote, and I think it's absolutely right, and I think it's something I should do. So regardless of whatever happens, I want you to know that you've inspired one person to take a first aid course. So I signed up for the first aid course. I did the advanced course with an online and workshop combination. So you could do most of it online, but then you'd have to do the last bits, you know, to actually practice resuscitation and things like that in a classroom setting. So I'd done all of the online course, but it took me until this last weekend to be able to get a time where I could attend the workshop. I actually postponed it. I had to postpone it twice because of events. You know, I was like, I can't turn down these events because there's money coming in, but they were really kind. They let me sort of transfer it without any cost, and so I could do those events and then just do this. So I did it last weekend, and what have I, you know, I'm now past my advanced first aid course, which means that I've got a little bit more confidence in helping people out if they get into trouble. And it also means that I've got a bit more confidence in doing group events and things where I've got at least, you know, I've passed my ARBO, my first aid course. So I'm a little bit more confident in that. And I've now bought, so this week I went out and bought a first aid kit as well, something that I can use for events. I don't know how I'm going to make it work because, you know, if I'm running around in a banana suit on my own, I don't really want to have like a great big first aid kit with me. So I think I need to figure that out. But like, for instance, on the 40 days that I'll be doing next month, the good thing is I can just put it into my buggy. So I will have sort of the full-blown first aid kit that I bought. I mean, you know, it's a pretty small thing, plasters and stuff like that. Yeah, I can do that. So I'll have that in my buggy during the event, which I think I'm feeling. I feel happier about. It's like a peace of mind knowing that I am a little bit more prepared than I would be. So that was good. So I totally recommend other people to do it. It was really insightful to do it, and it's amazing how much you actually kind of. It's like I had sort of two halves to it. One, it was like, oh yeah, I know that. That's kind of, you know, you kind of know these things. It's just common sense. So you got that on one half, and the other half was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I didn't really put it into perspective until I was on that course. So there was a real, there wasn't one sort of moment I was like, oh, that's good to learn. It was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Or, oh my God, I do know that. So it was a real sort of yin and yang thing, but I really enjoyed it and it was great doing it. I did, I'll put a link below for all the Dutch people that want to know about it. The great thing is, and I already had a couple of people reach out, I did the English course. I thought it was more important to do the English course to make sure I know I'm confident in all the words that are being spoken, rather than thinking, am I missing something by doing it in Dutch? So I decided to do the English course. So it was with the Red Cross here, the Rode Kraus, Roda Kraus or Roya Kraus? Roda Kraus. So I did it with them, but they've got English courses and they've got Dutch courses as well. So I'll link to it below. But yeah, I'm really glad that I did it. So that was sort of the first, that's kind of what's happened in the last week. I haven't had, in terms of sponsors, I haven't had any more firm decisions, but I've had quite a few meetings with some sponsors, some really good interactions. So I think there's going to be a couple of new ones that are coming on as a result of these meetings that I've had. And so, but I can't really say anything about sponsors, unfortunately, in this episode, more than I have already. What I do want to talk about is two negative things that, okay, this is all about positivity, right? I want to talk about two negative things that I alluded to last episode, and that was eating disorder and my training stroke injury. So which one should we do? Let's do eating disorder first of all. So for those that have been following me that know I did some Substack stuff, and that kind of fell by the wayside just because of timing and everything like that. So I kind of lost that. But well, first of all, backing up, what is eating disorder? I suffer from binge eating disorder. Have I been medically or professionally evaluated and sort of is that a medical evaluation that's been done on me? No, it's just me knowing that that's what I've got. I just looked at all the symptoms of binge eating disorder, and it just was so clear that that's what I've got, and I've had all my life, and and it's still with me, now. It's just crazy that it's something that I will always have to live with. The good thing is it's on that other side of eating too much rather than eating too little. So in terms of eating disorder, I suppose it's not. It doesn't have that real life-threatening condition, and I do so much sport that it kind of offsets it anyway. So it's better to be on the safe side in terms of eating than on the other side. The downside is I don't look like a traditional professional athlete because I've got wobbly bits. I can't do, that's who I am. The good thing is it tells a story to loads of people that you don't have to have an Adonis body to be a good sportsman. I think what I do is pretty astounding, especially given what, my shape, my body shape. I think it does make it a little bit more difficult for sponsors maybe to latch onto that, because I don't sort of, if you're coming in and you're not in the sports world, you're kind of going, I want someone to look like a sports athlete. Just saying how it is, I can imagine that they want to do that. They kind of don't want a guy that's approaching 60 next year, there's going to be 60 next year, with wobbly bits, who's not winning races. It kind of puts me into a compartmentalized to make me less interesting to sponsors for them. And then for sports brands as well, it makes it a little bit of a tougher sell. I mean, there are, I think there is a market for that, and I think, and I'll be talking about that in a little bit in this episode. But it does make it a little bit tougher. But I've got off track now. I lost my train of thought. So the eating disorder. So I've been really struggling with it. I signed up to a gym 2 months ago with the idea of trying to get on track with it and trying to sort of get into a rhythm in terms of gym work that might sort of distract me from, unfortunately, I'm going down the distraction path in terms of this eating disorder. But I'm just trying to see what I can do. Where is it now? Well, to put in context that people can understand. So what does sort of the binge eating disorder mean? Well, for me, it means I'm never hungry. I'm eating way before I get any hunger. Today, right now, right at the instance, I'm a little bit hungry. I wouldn't say I'm like starving. I'm a little bit hungry. It's the first time my stomach is going, oh, I think it's about time to eat. I cannot remember the last time that I had that feeling. I really cannot remember the last time that I actually felt at all hungry. I was always eating before I got to that point. So this is kind of cool to actually have that feeling. I said, I remember that feeling. I've had that feeling before. So there's never been, I think that's kind of shocking. That really shocked me to actually think, oh my God, when was the last time I actually felt hungry? Normally I wake up and I've been waking up feeling full. I've not been going to bed hungry, and I've not been waking. More importantly, I've not been waking up hungry. It isn't just a case I've eaten enough for that day. I've eaten enough to carry me through to most of the next day. We're now at 3:00 in the afternoon, and I've had breakfast, which was a bagel. So I had a bagel. Even with only a bagel, it's only now at 3:00 that I'm actually feeling hungry. So that is something I'm struggling with, and I kind of want to just hold on. I want to bundle that into something else in a little bit. But I'll give you more of an update next week. I think this is a good point to do that, because I kind of want to. I have to be a bit cautious about this. Don't worry or anything like that. But I kind of want to have that sort of hunger a little bit, because I want to eat. I want to have it be in deficit for the next few weeks, just to lose a bit of the fat that I've got, because I've got to run 50 kilometers with it. I don't need, I don't want to lose a huge amount of weight, but if I can lose a couple of kilos, that's going to help for the adventure I'm about to be on. So, I'm hoping that I can give you a good update next week. Anyway, that's the eating disorder. Training, what's happening with training? Well, I've got an injury. And this is the big news, really, is I've got a little bit of an injury. I think what's happened is I think backtracking it a bit, I'm really lucky. I've never really had too many injuries. Like for instance, last year, before the 31 marathons in a row, the Trial of Staden plog, I had a little bit of an Achilles problem. I did the 31 days and I actually didn't have an Achilles problem afterwards. So I'm really fortunate in that. But one of the things I've been doing over the last year and since that adventure, and even a little bit beyond that as well, before that, is I've only been focused on running, and as a professional plogger I've been focusing on really picking up trash, and I've not really been doing any interval training. I've not been doing anything other than long, slow, steady plogs. That's really been my bread and butter. Maybe I've done 100 kilometers a week doing that, but it's kind of one type of action. And what you do is, and what's happened, I think, is the injury I picked up is because my flexibility is gone, because my range of movement is gone. I'm not, I'm only doing running, and that's why I think last week I mentioned about the bike. I wasn't even getting on a bike. Got on a bike and suddenly it was the most painful thing in the world, just even going down to the shops. And you can see that I've been so compartmentalizing I've been so restricting myself into one type of movement and not just running, into just gentle jogging, that the range of movement that my legs have got, my flexibility has gone out of the window. My muscles have long gone really tight and short because they don't need to do anything else. And the result of that, my flexibility's gone. And I was getting a real, last month, I was getting really tight on my right leg. It was really, I was like thinking, oh, is this an injury? But it was just tightness because my muscles are so short at the moment. And I think what I did is I overcompensated with it on my left side to compensate for the right side, because I was determined to run through. And as a result of that is I picked up a bit of and I think it's an inflammation in my hip, around sort of the hip flexors. So that sort of area, the joint, the tendon joint and things. So I'm trying to get hold of a physio. I've reached out to a physio to get an echo on it, like an ultrasound, because I just want to make sure there's no tear in it. I'm pretty sure there isn't. I think it's just inflammation, but it is stopping me running a bit. So I've not run really at all, and I'm working on the gym. I'm doing more flexibility, and for the last 2 days in the gym, it's been amazing. I've really started to try and lengthen my muscles carefully. I need to make sure I don't overdo it, but so that's the problem. I'm not worried about it at all. I can jog, but I'm in a little bit of pain jogging. But I'm pretty sure that, even if I have to start walking half of it and jogging the rest of it or whatever, you know me probably well enough to know that I'm going to get to that start line, but I just want to make sure there's no tear in it. I'm not going to damage it further. And it's got it's so low impact. What I do is for a long duration, but it is low impact. So, I'm pretty sure that it is going to be okay, touch wood. But the flexibility is just completely gone. So I joined this gym 2 months ago with the idea of trying to do some weights, but what I'm really seeing now is actually, for the last 2 days, and I'm about to go to the gym after this, is I've been doing some strength work, which I haven't done for just ridiculously amounts of time, upper body mainly, only, and core. But what I've also noticed, and I've really enjoyed doing in the gym, is I've also been doing flexibility. So I've been taking up one of their mats, and I've actually been really focusing on it, not just doing it at home. And I think that's really helping. So the gym's really come on leaps and bounds to the point where I'm getting so much out of it. I'm thinking about sort of joining a gym properly. I've got like a 3-month membership here, and when it runs out at the end of this month, then I've got freedom to go somewhere else. I think I'm going to go somewhere else. I chose this gym because it's got a sauna, and that was my sort of primary focus. I wanted a sauna, but really I've discovered that the weight training and the flexibility is if this carries on, it's only a few days into it, so I'm not going to read too much in it, but more of an update next week. If this carries on, I want to go to a better gym. You know, the gym equipment here is really old and dated, and I feel I want to hit, and it's the memberships. The people in the gym are a little bit too old for me. They're my age. I want to go somewhere it's got a little bit more energy in it. So there's a really nice gym down the road called Gym 1. My daughter goes there. She's going to hate it. But I think I'm going to go to that. It's a little bit cheaper and do without the sauna. I think what's really made me realise is the gym and the flexibility and that sort of, you know, the strength work, the flexibility work is way more important than sauna. So maybe I'll treat myself to a sauna or treat myself something else, and it's like half the price. So that's it. And it all leads into a realization with the eating disorder. So this is really the update. Is there's been a bit of a realization this week, really, in that you've got the binge eating disorder, and I never really look after what I'm eating. I don't take any vitamins, I don't take any supplements or anything like that. Even though I'm vegan, you know, I kind of have Marmite. They're so fortified with B12, I don't really need it, but I've not done anything like that. I've not needed to do anything like that. I've not done any strength work. I've not needed to do it. I've been able to, you know, I've run 31 marathons in a month without any of that, you know. And so not looking after my nutrition or what I'm eating, not looking after the supplements I'm taking in, not looking after the strength work and the flexibility. You know, I've got away with it just by using, you know, BlackRoll is a sponsor of mine, and they were a real big contributor for the foam rolling. But what I've been doing is foam rolling in areas where I needed to, but not really in what I should, yeah, in the complete package. I need to do more than foam rolling. I need to do flexibility work. I need to use, you know, the foam rolling is part of what I need to be doing, not what I need to be doing. So I need to sort of go on here, right? The reason why I could do all of this is because I'm vegan, because I've been running for 46 years. I've got all that experience. So I've got that experience. I've got the vegan, which really just makes so much huge difference to me. And I've got BlackRoll doing that foam rolling, the recovery boots, which are fantastic. That has let me sort of do what I've done last year. What I've realized is now the age, this year seems to be a change for me, in as much as the age has kicked in and said, no, you've kind of got to be sensible. You know, you need to actually do what everyone says. I never do a warming up. I never do a cooling down. Don't do any flexibility. I've kind of got to bring that in, and I need to look at supplements. I need to look at my nutrition and get it better. And luckily, one of the potential sponsors is something around that. So, you know, I originally sort of reached. Going to be completely honest, I reached out to them, was hoping that they would sort of sponsor me. I'm looking for sponsors, looking for money, but now I'm actually kind of going, oh God, now I'm in a position where I'm, oh please let them become a sponsor, because if they do, then they can advise me and I can start using their products and see if it does make a difference. I can actually be a real live case of not just saying, hey, look, I take these supplements. I can be like, hey, I take these supplements. And this has meant that I've been able to do this adventure. So I'm really excited to hopefully have them on board. Hopefully more news next week. They said they'll sort of come back to me in a week and a half. I had a really good conversation with them, and they were actually ones that talked about it. You know, we were talking about it, and they're like saying, yeah, you've got that ability to do it. You can do it now, but what you need to do is you need to add that longevity into it. And that's my missing piece. And I need to be that. I need to, you know, it's not, I'm giving away the catch line that I'd already thought up and submitted to them. It's not about, when you pick up a piece of trash, you make an impact. When people see you doing it, you can make a difference. That's always been my motto. But really what we need to do, or what I need to do, is when you continue being seen, you can make an even bigger difference. And really it's that longevity is, I need to look beyond what I'm doing today or this week or even this year and go, hey, I need to make sure that I'm doing this, I'm active for the next 5-10 years. This is not, and that's something I've always been really proud of, is, this is my 15th anniversary as a plogger. I think that's amazing. What I'm really proud of is its 15th year as a plogger. I haven't given up. So many people, and what I've seen is so many people have got into the plogging world, have got into sustainability, and they've given up because they've been disheartened. No, I want to show people you can carry on if you get the right mindset, you get the right attitude, and for me, what I now need to see the right ingredients, recipe for success. Then you can just carry on doing it. So that's so important for me, and especially even just down to, irrespective of my account or whatever I'm trying to do with this account and with my mission. It's also for me as a runner. I want to make sure I'm running on the last day I'm here on this earth, and so I need to start thinking about that. I need to start realizing I can't get away with it. The genetics or whatever I've got away with it for so long with, they're catching up with me now, and the age is starting to make that impact to the point where I need to pay attention to the stuff that so many other people have had to do all their lives. So that's that. One little bit about plans. So I've got some really cool plans coming together in terms of the project. So what I'm going to be doing is, I think tomorrow I'm going to start working on the website to make sure that people can sort of do their promises. So I said this week, so it's going to be tomorrow when I start doing that. And it's going to have the live tracking. I can start putting in dates where I know I'm going to be in Haarlem. But I think for the majority of the time, it's going to be in Haarlem, Amsterdam area. I've got some nice days in different locations, but for the most of it, it's going to be here in this area. So I'll be doing the live tracking, and I'll be like saying, okay, I'm in this area, you can come and sort of meet me and just join in. So I think that's going to be really good. So it's going to be the same as last year. Hopefully I have lots of people that maybe just come and say hi to me, that don't even have to join in because they know me in the streets and stuff. So I'm really excited about that. That people can just join me whenever they want to. So, and also I can join for instance, the social run, like I'm kicking off the event with the Haarlem Hobblers on their Friday morning event at 7 a.m. at Westhof. That's going to be my kickoff on the 7th of August, which is a Friday. So I'll be doing their run and then kicking off to do the full marathon afterwards, because I'd have done maybe sort of 10 kilometers. So I've still got another 40 kilometers to go. So that's a little bit of an update on there, more to come. I really wanted to talk about those two subjects. The last thing, let me just put that away. The last thing that I wanted to talk about was something that happened this morning, which just fits in so well with the acts of kindness. And I don't know if she saw this, but I was tearing up when it happened. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because it's quite personal. But there's someone there. I was speaking to someone today whose mother is has cancer. It's like a real life-threatening cancer and everything. And apparently she's been following me. So she's been telling her mother about me, and her mother also sort of follows me and everything, and sort of tracks what I'm doing. And she was talking about her mother, saying her mother's taking the attitude of, no, this is not, I do not want to have fear be a part of my life in this stage of my life where I am. As soon as you let fear in, it can make so much of it can impact you in a negative way. It can bring in, that fear can make you more sick. I suppose it's like, what is it, the Robin Williams film when, bringing laughter into the hospital, that kind of thing. it's kind of just along those lines. Don't let that fear in. Don't let it become part of your life. So everyone was like talking to her mother, and sort of it's all just like feels like goodbyes and sadness and everything. And her mother's like saying, no, I'm not letting fear in. And so this woman said, would you mind if I phoned her up and leave her a voice message and you put a message on there? So that's exactly what I did. Was I just went on there and say, look, this just aligns with who I am as well. It's sort of, maybe not the fear, but for me, it's more about the positivity. Don't let that negativity in on you. Don't let yourself be the limiter in your own life. Don't give up. Don't. So many people will bring us down or try and put us in a box or put a ceiling on what we can and can't do. Enough people will do that. Don't let yourself be one of them. The whole idea of this positivity that I try and bring out is, look, it's amazing. And what I do specifically within it is to show people what can be done. Heck, whatever happens in this 40 days that are coming up. Last year, I ran around the country. How many people can say they've run 31 marathons in a row? How many people have run around the entire Netherlands? Not many people can do that. And I did that in a banana suit, picking up trash, pushing a buggy and everything like that. And I'm going even crazier this year. Regardless of how it goes for these 40 days, I'm going to give it a go. I'm trying. I'm not limiting myself, even with the little bit of a niggle at the moment that I've got. I'm not limiting myself. I'm still going there to do it. There is no time limit on what I do. There is no, if I have to walk half of it, if I have to walk most of it, so be it. But I'm going to try and make sure I get that distance done. And so I was like saying to her, I come at the same thing for me. I try and not let that negativity in. It's always knocking on the door, but I try and do my hardest to not limit myself and just try and focus on the positive, bring happiness and bring positive energy into my life and what I do. And that's very much what I try and do. And I was just like saying, so we just had that, I just left that voice message and it came and it, what I did just then was, in fact, from her and from what I was like doing in that voice message, it was an act of, it's like an act of kindness that you're doing. Make that one of your promises. Call someone up saying, that's feeling sick and give them some energy in what you say. Don't say, oh, sorry. Give them some energy to help bring some positivity in there, to remove that fear and to bring something positive in. So I kind of had those, that was kind of like an act of kindness in its own right. And then while we were talking, she got a message from her mother back. And that in turn was, oh, I love what you do. And so nice. This is exactly the message I wanted and I needed right now. And I've been talking about it with some friends and sharing it. And I'm going to be taking this and telling them all about it like that. Suddenly, I just got goosebumps. Suddenly she's given me an act of kindness, just saying thank you for what you said. I think this just sums it up. It's just a constant churn of positive energy. And we get these things throughout the day. We need to make sure that we recognize them for what they are, as positive things in our lives, not just the negative things you're seeing on the news. Look at the positive little things that are going on. I'm here in a field. Let me just sort of move this around. So look, I'm just here in this field. How can that not bring joy to people? Over here, there's maybe you've been hearing them. There's kids playing football. There's a whole sort of sports academy going on in just the field there. It's just bringing me joy, just being here in this field, talking about it. That's what I want to do with the Run for Promises, is to make these promises that are simple acts of kindness throughout the day for people, even for yourself. You can give yourself an act of kindness. Acts of kindness for the planet or for others. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. I hope this sounds okay. I've waffled on for 34 minutes. I need to be more focused on my outside broadcasts. Hopefully it comes across line. What do you think? Should I do this more often? Let me know. But for that, I'm going to leave it. Thank you very much for listening in and watching. and maybe I'm going to make use of the portaloo that's just there in the background. I'll speak to you next week. Thanks so much. Bye.